and grass, and below that there's a huge lake, the biggest lake of Bangalore. And one of my films, even today the song is popular, Nammura Mandara Huve. Alemane film or shot. I lived there for 15 days, and that lake had maintained and sustained the lives of nearly 15 to 20 villages and nearly about another 15, 20 hamlets. So thousands of families, wonderful totagalu, then grassland, cattle, vegetables, milk they used to supply, and more, the youngsters didn't come to the city. They were all very happy, fresh air, lovely. And then one day I saw that about 4 JCBs were ripping the earth apart. Then I was at that time a vice chairman of Indian Society for Environmental Studies. My chairman was retired Justice D.M. Chandrasekhar. I told him, sir, look, this is the biggest lake of Bangalore. And the lakes are not only decorative or, elements. They have ecological, botanical, they have geological, social, environmental functions. And they are in our system, in a country like India, they support the peri-urban economic system. Peri-urban economic system is that system which is on the fringe of the city, where the villages live, they produce their own vegetables, they supply you the servants, the domestic maids, they supply you milk, but go back and live there, right? That economy is a very strong economy in India, all over India, which we have not taken into consideration. We want to buildings, okay, take that lake because that doesn't belong, there are only some few villages. They are ripped apart that lake. And I told that Deshpande, who was the minister then, I said, ಏನಪ್ಪ ನೀ ಬರೇ ಇಕಾಲಜಿ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೆರೆ ಗಿರೆ ಜಿಟ್ಟೆ ಪಟ್ಟೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀಯಲ್ಲ, ನಮಗದು 2 ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಬಂದರೆ ಸುಮಾರು 40 ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ವಿಧಾನಸೌಧ ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. I said, okay, ನೀವು ವಿಧಾನಸೌಧ ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ಇದು 5-6 ವರ್ಷ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜನ ನೀರಿರೋದಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತೋಟ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರ ಕ್ಯಾಟ್ಲಿಗೆ ಮೇವಿರಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವಾಗ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆವಾಗ ಅವರು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಿಟಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಸಿಟಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಓಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆವಾಗ ನೀವು ಸಿಟಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಜಾಬ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಯಂಗ್ ಪೀಪಲ್. ದೋಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಹಿಯರ್. Slums will increase. Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you. So, see, then thousands of young people, they were not asking you electricity, they were not asking you water, they were not asking you food, they were not asking jobs. This is what the peri-urban economy supports. This is a very strong feature of India, which we are not at all looking at. That some fellow, unfortunately I have to drop some names. Our man that, some Ramdas Pai, he all the time, bearded man, Mohandas Pai. He said we had 1,000 kilometers, 6-lane systems from Bidar, from Gulbarga to Bangalore. We have to have 1,000 industries. I said, what is this, Mr. Pai? 1,000 industries, where is the water, where is electricity, where is coal? Our calorific value of the coal is very low. We have to buy it from Indonesia. And our, 6% of the hybrid only that we have. And agricultural land, we already are the second. After Rajasthan, Karnataka is second in the area of desert area we have. You, perhaps not people are aware about it. After Rajasthan, Karnataka is the second state having a large part of deserts next to Rajasthan. Imagine that. In spite of the fact about 8 districts are covered by the Western Ghats. And then the remaining agricultural or arable land is good enough. Like North Karnataka area where I come from is very, very productive. So we have to focus on agriculture. And agriculture is, let me tell you, the only profession or industry which has survived for 6,000 years. In this world. No other industry has survived. No other industry has survived for more than 100, 200 years. There have been changes. They have brought about immense disaster. I'm not saying industry shouldn't be there. What kind of industries? What kind of produce? So eventually we have to see. Now what happened to this peri-urban, this Bairamangala lake? Now 2 industries came, Toyota and Coca-Cola. Okay, Coca-Cola produces 11 billion bottles of Coca-Cola per month. 11 million bottles into 7 liters of water, and which is supplied from directly Kaveri River. We have set up a substation and giving them the water. Right? When we don't give drinking water to a large percentage of people here, we have to give there. And Deshpande says, hey, we have to supply water because it's an industry. The economy, growth agಬೇಕು, development agಬೇಕು. Is Coca-Cola development a symbol of development? We have to question. ನೀವು ಮಜ್ಜಿಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಬಟರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಬೇಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಕೆರೆ ಹಾಳಾದರೂ ಚಿಂತಿಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ. ಆದರೆ ನೀವು ಎದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು Coca-Cola? What is it? Americans drink it and all that. Tendulkar, Shahrukh, Aishwarya Rai, they are paid crores of rupees. Hi, Coke and all anta style ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಲ್ ಯಂಗ್ಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಟೆಂಡೂಲ್ಕರ್ ಕುಡಿತಾ ನೀವು ಕುಡಿತೆ. ಆ ಟೆಂಡೂಲ್ಕರ್ ಮಗನಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆದ್ದು ಬ್ಯಾಟ್ ತೊಗೊಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಅದೇ ಆಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಅವನು ಕೋಟಿಗಟ್ಟಲೆ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ, ಅವ್ನು ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭಾ ಒಳಗೆ ಕೂಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಆಯಿತಾ. ಅವನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೋಕೋ-ಕೋಲಾ ಪ್ರಮೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಮೀರ್ ಖಾನ್. ವೆನ್ ಯು ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಅಮೀರ್ ಖಾನ್ ಐ ಸೇ, no, tell me where the Coca-Cola bad? I don't think it is. So can't argue with many of these people. I'm saying, so this whole system. Now when the mobile came, I was going in the villages in Dharwad, a lot of youngsters, some old man I was taking with him. Saibra, ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ದುಡಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲರಿ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ I can't now produce. I used to produce a lot of vegetables. I mean, I used to have wonderful rice ಎಲ್ಲ, ಬಂಗಾರ ಕಡ್ಡಿ ರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ. Now I can't do. Why? I said, all our children have gone to the city. I said, okay. Now this is the feature. I think if you go, you will realize this. Now the labor cost has gone up. Let it go on, because now the prices of everything gone up. Now the youngsters, we found out, there's a direct link between the gadgets that we have brought and the gadgets these youngsters are using. The moment he holds a mobile, next thing he wants is to talk to the girl, right? Because that's how the marketing strategy is. You see the advertisements, the nice phone comes, the girl is saying, hi, oh, no. He wants, like that. Then next, we want motorbike. Because if you have motorbike, a girl will come and sit next to you. If you have a car, 2 girls will come and sit. See, this is the market, this is how the advertisements are. Papa, they're all young boys in the village. They think that if you have mobile, motor car and car, you'll have girls, you'll have everything, nice. So the next they want to go to the cities. No, this is a sociological trend. And and the next thing is, the moment to have this gadget, they don't want to soil their hands. They don't want to work in the field. ಮಣ್ಣೊಳಗೆ ಕೈ ಹಾಕಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಗಿಡ ಹತ್ತೋದು, ಭತ್ತ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಬೇಡಪ್ಪ. ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. ಸಿಟಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಡೂ, city in any factory, any hotel and all that, then they are huddled together, 3, 4, 5 boys, the smoking, then beer, then any other things, all related things. Many of them have become homosexuals. So these are the findings, And now the Nokia and all that, when in one of the seminars we asked, Nokia, what is this Nokia? Oh, a market is growing. India is a huge market. We are looking only at market. China is an emerging economy. India is an emerging economy. There are more mobile phones than toilets in India. See, there are more mobile phones. Nokia, Vodafone. I said, what about agriculture production? I said, after the introduction of mobile phones, the agriculture production has come down. I was giving a talk in one engineering colleges. A High Court judge, Mr. Kumar, was there. Mr. Heblikar, how do you relate this, the mobile phone and agriculture production? I said, this is what is happening. Oh, yes, wonderful. We never think about that. So because we are given always an impression, see, after the mobile now, medical health, medical service, delivery, all improved. An old man can find, hey, ನನಗೆ ಇದು ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತಗೊಂಬ, ನೋಡಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, So in a writer, a carpenter, anybody using mobile phone, they link it only to some kind of a peripheral, superficial, kind of a grace, a superficial kind of a help, which comes from these gadgets. But the deeper impacts, the influences of these gadgets on economy, on rural development, on psychology are not studied. So one has to be careful what kind of development agenda the countries are forcing. One is, in the process of production of all these, we are losing many of our natural resources. So as I told earlier, our ecological capital is dwindling. And this ecological capital, if it dwindles, then there won't be any further development. No further economic growth will take place. And that is very, very important. Now the signs have begun to show. Like the European economy, the slowdown, they are not able to come out of the economy, they slow down the European economy. Even a great country like America, which we can live thousands of years at the same rate of their economic growth, because they have huge resources. Yet, they have not been able to manage to maintain the rate of economy and the development which they had for all these years. Just look at it, because there are only 30 crores of people, and they have 3 times land bigger than India. But yet, they are finding it difficult to maintain. The slowdown is still afflicting them. European economy is dwindling, and now it's only in India. Indian manufacturing industry is also, you don't see much of growth in the manufacturing industry. All these are related to the natural resources. If you go and find out why, it is the natural resources. One. Second is, I don't know, maybe the inflation and all that. But these again are peripheral reasons, superficial reasons, but the solid reasons are that the economy and development are eventually based on ecological capital. I want to just round it up by saying that in 1972, there was a first environmental conference, a global conference, which took place, which pronounced a very profound theory of limit to growth. It is a Rome, they say, law. Limit to growth. That is a limit. And the earth has a carrying capacity. Say a bunch of scientists from the MIT, MIT's Massachusetts Institute of Technology, they had prepared a paper. At that time, I think Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister. She attended. She was interested in environment. And we had Bert Land, there is another man, and Prime Minister. So in that conference, this theory and this paper was presented very powerfully. These youngsters had said that this earth has a carrying capacity, and if you go at the trends that were prevailing then, like the trends in production, trends in population, trends in consumption and distribution, which were largely affecting the natural resources and the economy and environment, they say if the same trends continue, the carrying capacity of the earth will be over in 100 years. Or in the sense, because the economic systems, that is ecosystems, will collapse. Economic systems will outstrip ecosystems. Once the economic systems outstrip ecosystems, then there will be a destruction will start. There's ecological destruction. This is called dissolution. You won't be able to maintain the rate of growth, rate of development and all that. So it will give rise to social instability. Social instability will give rise to political chaos and political instability. So these are the final outcomes of the environmental destruction. So mind you, that environment is not just to be talked about very easily, but it has to be studied, understood, and then taken very seriously. So that carrying capacity, which was at that time evaluated and given to the world didn't bother about it. I say, hey, let's say. Because some other scientists said, well, these young scientists have only taken into consideration the natural resources and the trends in production, but then the technological interventions, that's for dematerialization, that is small inputs, bigger output. That is, suppose if you are using only this much of material and producing more of products, you will have to use less of material, produce more of. Yes, fine. These are all technological improvements, advancements which have taken place, that you can have small inputs and have much bigger inputs and things like that. But however, whatever said and done, this will not continue for long. Even because the increasing demands of the increasing populations are putting tremendous pressures and exertion on the natural resources. We are 8 billion people today. You can go back about 100 years, you'll know we are almost half of it, even less than half of it. Now this is not going to continue. That's why it is only recently, about 4 or 5 years ago, when Al Gore, when he produced a brilliant documentary called The Inconvenient Truth, and he found it while he was flying over Alaska and saw a polar bear which was swimming. He said, my God, this is a danger. A polar bear swimming in the Arctic is a terrible thing, because there should not be water. And he saw water, and a polar bear had to swim about 40 to 50 kilometers, which is when you should walk. So they say, if the global warming, if it takes place, that's also again a very controversial subject at the time, but it has been highly contested, but immensely proved that global warming is a truth and it is taking place. They say if it does take place, the ice sheets already, which are 2 kilometers thick in Iceland, next to Greenland and Iceland, they have already started melting. They are about 2 kilometers thick. If they start melting, these snows of Kilimanjaro, a great book you must read. Kilimanjaro's never had melted. They have melted. The Gangotri, about 14 kilometers, the ice, our glaciers have shrunk in the last 100 years, if you take that. So there is an apprehension that whether we will have Ganga flow the same way it has flown all these years. So these are very, very large questions before us. So I hope I'm going to end it here. And I was just telling Jairam, perhaps your organization can also take a look at some of the environmental issues, because they're great projects, environmental projects. It's a sunrise industry, and it's a great opportunity. If you can also take a look at some of these projects, like garbage is one, you can produce energy, like they say that a plastic can produce oxygen, energy and also fuel, and biomethanization can take place, and so on and so forth. Whatever said and done, that we may have to look at development anew, and maybe it's good for children we discuss these issues. Thank you very much for inviting me.